Well, good morning. How are you all today? I've missed you. I just got back from our vacation. A time of relaxation and recharging and re-energizing. Yeah, I kept up on the news a little bit, not enough to ruin my vacation, but to see what's going on. And basically, it's the same old stuff. But I get back and the border plan has come out, and so that's of course what everybody is on everyone's mind. 50 Cent says he says that perhaps Trump is the answer. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Christy Nome says that this could be civil war if Biden nationalizes the South Dakota or anybody else's National Guard. And what do we have down there? We have 28 states, something like that. 28 governors, 28 states are supporting Greg Abbott down in Texas, all Republican governors. Somebody says, and they're talking about, is it time for a national divorce? And, is there going to be a civil war? Is there going to be a fragmentation? Is there going to be a balkanization? Is there going to be this or that? And of course, right now, it doesn't pay to get too wrapped up in the weeds or the incidentals, but the important thing to keep in mind is, or to pay attention to, is that these are the noises that are going on. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And really, today I'm going to ask you: are you willing to tell the truth? And I know that most of you would say, "Well, of course I am, Steve. I'm not a liar." I know. If you're watching this, I'm sure you're a fine person. But no, that's not. I don't mean you're lying, but are you willing to tell the truth? And that's what it comes down to. We are in the season now, aren't we? And and a lot is going to happen. A lot's going to be said. A lot of lies are going to be put out there. And what happens in November is going to depend a lot on how hard we work and how hard we try. And there will be some, plenty out there, there's probably some in this audience that will maintain that, well, but Steve, you see, people aren't elected, they're selected. And if you don't know that, you're extremely naive. And to an extent, they are selected. I mean, I'm well aware of how politics works. I'm from Kansas City, the corrupt machine town. I know how politics works. I know how Harry Truman got put in the White House. I know how John Kennedy got put in the White House. I know all these things. But I know that these things are only able to be accomplished when the uproar of the crowd is not heard. Okay? And we had a couple of uproars that actually brought things about differently. One was Reagan, and two was Trump. By the way, I was down when we were down at the cabin. There's a Trump store in Branson, and the boys and I stopped in there. It is amazing. They have more Trump stuff in there, and I actually meant to get back and pick up a few things on before we left the cabin. And I just ran out of time, so I didn't have to. But if you're ever in Branson and you have a chance to go to the Trump store, go. The guy's nice, but you know what? Something happened there. Don't worry, I'll get back to the topic here, but all these things are important. Something happened in that Trump store that showed me where a problem lies on our side. And I'll just tell it to you right now, and then we'll get to the major news of the day, the border, and other stuff. The boys and I went in the Trump store. Aiden, my oldest, wanted to go in the Trump store. He wanted to get some stuff. And do you realize how many young people are 100% supportive of Trump? If you don't hang around young people, you have no idea. And we're talking about what are they? Are they the Gen Z? I'm always having to ask the kids and Kelly, what generation are you and what comes in front of you? I know I'm a boomer. That's all I need to know, right? And I kind of like that. We're boomers. We built a lot of what people are complaining about now. As did our parents. But you would be amazed, because I had no idea until recently that the generation Gen Z, and I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country. I know what it's like here in Kansas, but they are Trump to the max. He's my son says he's got a big Trump flag, Trump 2024 hanging in his room, and he says all of his friends do too. And it's just anyway. Here's a little story that happened in the Trump store, and it illustrates a problem that we have on our side. So we were talking to the guy, great guy, nice guy. Nobody else was in there except us, so he got to talking. He's one of these guys, he's probably lonely. He talks a lot, and but he's a good old boy. And so we were talking, and I asked. Oh yeah, he said, "Well, I just had a liberal come in and try to start an argument." And I said, "Well, does that happen very often?" And he said, "Well, it happens, not all the time, but it happens." And I said, "Yeah, just like Dixie Outfitters." Now, Dixie Outfitters is a store that is right down the street from them. And Dixie Outfitters, if you're not familiar with them, Dixie, as in I wish I was in the land of Dixie. It it sells a lot of Confederate stuff. Battle flags, T-shirts, everything in the world. I've bought stuff there. I like it. It's good stuff. And actually, the people there. Well, no, I'll start with this. And so I said something about, just like Dixie Outfitters gets a lot of people causing them trouble and stuff like that. And you know what he said? He said, but I don't understand why I can understand that, but I don't know why they come in here. We don't have any racist stuff. You see right there, this was a guy that was calling Dixie Outfitters racist. And I know the people who run that. I mean, I don't know them personally. I've been in there long enough. I've talked to them enough. These people are not racist by any stretch of the imagination, nor are most people who like to wear the Confederate flag merchandise and stuff like that. They're not. And as more and more people are starting to understand, even those people who haven't read my books and become educated on the truth of that war in the 1860s, people are starting to see, because of what's going on with our border now in states, that when we've tried to explain for years and years that war was about states' rights, not slavery. Slavery was a part of states' rights, okay, but we'll get off of that. Now more people are starting to understand, states' rights, and a federal government that isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing and treating certain states unfairly. Ooh, I think I starting to understand, right? Well, so here's a problem, and I didn't say anything to him about it. I didn't want to start an argument right there, but I thought, okay, here's a guy who's on the right, right? Super. I mean, he runs a Trump store. Well, are you going to say that's on the right or not? You could argue that he's a populist. Okay, he's a populist, and he wants to return, sovereignty. Not like sovereign citizens. He wants to return the rights of the people to the people and the rights of the states to the states. And if you've read the 10th Amendment, okay, and I think I put that up on the Patreon channel for everybody to see. That the state's not specifically given, the powers not specifically given to the federal government are reserved to the people and to the states. So people are starting to understand it. Anyway, so he says, but we don't have racist stuff like they do. And that's the thing. I don't know why he thought that Dixie Outfitters is racist. Maybe he's never been in there. Maybe he hasn't talked to him. Maybe he's just believed what so many people say about it. Maybe he, went to government schools and has been miseducated, indoctrinated. Who knows? But see, that's the problem. Even people on our side are taking shots at other people on our side, because the people at Dixie Outfitters are 100%. That's where I got this cap. 100% Trump. And for anybody wandering by that says, how can you vote for Trump? I'll say, how in the world can you not? How in the world can you vote for Biden? And if you don't vote for Trump, and if you get on your little high horse up there and say, I'm just too morally superior to vote for a man who's been divorced twice and whatever and talks badly about women, I'm not going to be a part of that. Okay, that's fine. You're helping Biden. You're helping the people who are bringing communism to our country. And I just told a piece of truth there. Did you catch that? I just told a piece of truth there. And that's what I'm talking about. Are you willing to tell the truth? Even if it makes people upset. Now, I didn't want, you said, well, you didn't tell the truth to the guy in the Trump store. We were only there for a few minutes. I wasn't going to start a big deal about it because, the boys wanted to come back and buy something later. So you do have to, discretion being the better part of value. Pick when you tell the truth, but tell it. And besides that, I already knew that he was on our side anyway. I knew he was going to vote for Trump. So anyway, that's just an interesting story there. And our side does that all the time. The left, the commies are lockstep. They always support each other, and our side doesn't. Our side eats their young. They eat each other. They're at each other all the time. The slightest difference of opinions will get people at each other on the so-called right. Okay, and some will get their butt hurts and not vote and not do this, and I'm not going to do that. I'm blah, 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 blah. You see? Okay. So the people on the right. See, they destroy themselves. And then they don't vote, and then they complain about how things are fixed, right? And then they complain about, it's selected, not elected. I won't be a part of it. Well, it's selected because you weren't a part of it. How about that? How about that for another piece of truth? By the way, share this with people. Support the channel if you would, okay? Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs up if you don't like it. No, I'm kidding. Tell the truth. If you don't like it, don't give it a thumbs up. Stick around, though, because you'll learn something if you stay with me long enough. But give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you would, even if it's just a thumbs up. Or, yeah, Steve, I think it's what you said. I agree with that. And then go on and say whatever you want to say. And share this. And then make sure that you are subscribed. Okay, that's so important. Make sure that you're subscribed. Hit that little bell. Make sure that you hit the thing that says notify you of everything. And that helps so much. And again, share it. People ask, can I share your video? I make them so that you can share them. I want you to share them, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's over on Patreon. Patreon is another great way that you can be a part of it. Help the channel, but also get access to more information because whenever I put up a video on Patreon, this will go on YouTube, the same video, I'll put it on Patreon, but then I'll also put links to the articles from which I read during this or to which I refer, okay? So, when this goes up, and I do that so that you can go there for $1 a month, for crying out loud, and say, okay, here's the articles. I can read the whole thing myself. Steve reads a little bit of it. Now I read the whole thing. And then I have the link to send a friend. See, that's your part. Your part is to get out there and tell the truth. Spread the truth, because the truth will set you free. And I don't mean that sacrilegiously. I'm not jokingly quoting Jesus, but who better to quote, right? And in this case, it's there is no more truth than that. Okay, so we're at the border now. I'll get to Christy Nome talking about Civil War in a minute, and I'll get to 50 Cent and all that. Maybe I ought to throw in 50 Cent here. Should I? Yeah, maybe I will. Well, apparently he said, and I just recently learned how to properly pronounce it. Here I'm saying 50 Cent. It ain't 50 Cent, it's 50 Cent. Okay, well, 50 Cent. Rapper 50 Cent says, it's spelled 50 cents, cent. Says maybe Trump is the answer after seeing New York City give prepaid credit cards to migrants. You see, this is how people's minds are changed when they have the truth revealed to them. Okay, I don't know what 50 Cent's political background was. I'll tell you what, I'm more and more I'm pleased to see how many celebrities are waking up, except Taylor Swift. Yeah, I get it. Oh, hey, are you aware of that big conspiracy theory that the Super Bowl has been fixed so that and so that the so-called fake relationship between Taylor Swift and who apparently just got Jay-Z all worked up because Beyonce didn't win album of the year at the Grammy. See, I just sounded like I knew all about this, right? And I keep up. I don't. I happen to see the headlines, you know, and I thought that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, back to the great conspiracy. There's a conspiracy that the Super Bowl is fixed so the Chiefs will win. Well, you know, it didn't have to be fixed for the Chiefs to win. Not with Mahomes and Kelsey out there and some others. But I don't know if they're going to win or not. I don't. I go to the Super Bowl party and I eat the appetizers. And if they win, great, but it costs me money because then Kelly and all the kids want Super Bowl sweatshirts. And my gosh, those things are expensive. They've won a couple of Super Bowls, and man, I could have bought a car with what I spent on Super Bowl sweatshirts. Anyway, so yeah, so the Super Bowl's fixed so that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey will come out, and so they'll be so popular as the super couple, you know, even as big. Yeah, nobody can be as big as Baracko and Big Mike, but and then they will endorse Biden so that Biden will win re-election. So, see, the Super Bowl is all fixed so that Biden will win the re-election. Now, I do want to point out something here. Well, that's stupid. That's stupid. But I do want to point out, and I want to warn you about something. Biden could win re-election. He could. Don't think that he can't. You can think, nobody would vote for this moron. He's down to 37% approval. Now, no president has ever been that low at this time in a re-election year. Yes, you know, things happen. And I keep reminding you, because I've been there, right? Nobody thought Bill Clinton could be reelected because of how horrendous his first term was. Well, do you remember his second term? Yes, you do, because there was one, right? Same thing with Baracko. Nobody will vote for this guy. He's destroying the country. He immediately went around the world apologizing for America and saying that America wasn't great. And he started causing, you know, he restarted the racial divide in our country. He has started racism. Nobody's going to vote for this fool again. Remember his second term? Sure you do, because there was one, right? By the way, I'm drinking my coffee today out of the Rebellion to Tyrants is Obedience to God mug. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter and to abolish it, and to instate new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Thomas J. from the Declaration. You can get yours too. Oh, by the way, when I got back from vacation, I didn't do any work. I shot a couple of videos, but when I got back, I mean, the orders for the mugs are just slamming. We'll catch up, but we're having to work hard to catch up on it. So man, I am so glad these things are out there. And if you want to know a way to spread the word out there, buying a mug or 10 and giving them out to your friends. The way you can get them is down below at the Stonemont website, stonemont.us. You can get them there. And, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff. My books, the Stonemont t-shirts. We'll be coming out with some t-shirts, some political and, you know, patriotic, not meaning, you know, well, the proper patriotic feeling. Okay, sometime, I don't know when. I've got 9 million things going on right now. We'll get them out there one of these days. But right now, pick up some mugs. And this isn't the only one that's available. There's others, you know. There's the Trump ones and all that. Let me have another sip. I talk too much and my mouth is getting dry. So yeah, so that's the big Super Bowl conspiracy. Now let's get back to the border, shall we? Yeah, so 50 Cent, it only took him seeing a little bit of truth with seeing all these illegals, like the ones that beat up those two New York cops and then skipped town because they got out with no bail. They came out, they beat up the two cops, they went in, there was no bail, they were released, came out flipping the bird. I won't do it on here because I'm a polite person. And flipping the bird and to all of us, right? And then they scoot the boot, and I guess they're in California or something. Well, maybe they'll get washed away. California, man, you got the rains coming, don't you? Is this the days of Noah out there for you all because you allowed your state to become so corrupt and sinful? Well, who knows? But I guess you got it coming. So 50 Cent says, hey, that ain't right. They're giving prepaid debit cards to illegals. That's not right. Maybe Trump is the answer. Yes. Well, so now let me talk about the border, and then we'll circle back to Kristi Noem, who so many people are saying, Trump should consider as his vice presidential pick, and I agree with that. I said that a long time ago. I know she's got that little problem with Corey Lewandowski. Maybe. But I don't know that to be true, and neither do you, and we don't know. You're going to hear all sorts of... This is the political season. It's dirty season. This is going to be dirty for the next 9 or 10 months. Maybe after that. So the border, they've come out, the Senate has come out with their border bill, right? And their border bill, which is, gives what, $60 billion to Ukraine? A couple of billion to Ukrainians who now live in other countries who have been displaced. See, this is the corruption of our government. It needs to be done away with. Our government needs to be changed. Simple as that. It's simple as that. And that's why many people say, and many people over on the preparedness channel say, hey, a CME would be the best thing to happen because then we could start over again. 90% die off in the first 12 months would leave the people who actually are able to sustain themselves and work together and maybe rebuild as I have them do in the Stone Mountain series. If you want to know how to rebuild a country, the Stone Mountain series, my books, will tell you how to do it. So anyway, so the border bill is out. Mike Johnson over in the House says it's dead on arrival, not going to happen. But of course it sees us. It allows us to see the sausage being made. It allows us to see the corruption behind the scenes. It allows us to see how much Mitch McConnell loves slow dancing with Chuck Schumer. It allows us to see, and I saw a couple of I was watching the news earlier, I saw a couple of Republicans, the Republican governor of Oklahoma, come out and trying to support this bill. Or was he a senator? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Somebody from either a governor or a senator from Oklahoma. Doesn't make any difference. Trying to explain why this bill is good and why we should vote for it, or why they should vote for it. Okay, and then why the House should do it. Well, Mike Johnson says, "No, ain't gonna happen." Well, it's just full of a bunch of pork like every other bill. It's not going to help. Well, it says something like, what does it say? That they can call for an immediate or an emergency shutdown of the border if during any week there is, I think, an average greater than 5,000 illegals coming in per day. Then they can declare an emergency shutdown. I'll tell you when to declare an emergency shutdown of the border. How about right now? Right now. How about 10 years ago? How about before this crap ever started? I remember long ago, back when I was a cop in the city, and I remember that migrants used to come up from Mexico and pick the fields. And the reason that I remember that is because the dental school, UMKC Dental School here in Kansas City, they would go out, the dental students, and give them free dental care. Okay. And every year, the people that came up to pick the whatever they grew out there, would come up and they'd have their teeth checked and their kids' cavities filled and stuff like that. And you know what happened after that? After everything was picked, they went home. They went home. Day labor's been a thing forever, and it's everybody down through the South and California and everywhere where produce is grown knows about this. The people used to come up, pick their stuff, and go home. Well, that was kind of let's see how I'm getting close. I need to wrap this up. I'm so sorry. I get to talking. There's a lot to talk about. Well, we need to shut down. There's no reason no illegal should be in this country. None. None. No one should be allowed in illegally ever. And we should make an effort to find all those who have come and send them back. That's the only way we do it. There's only one problem. They provide a lot of work. That's right. They provide a lot of work, a lot of labor up here. Now, I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret. And I know I deal with a lot of them. I don't employ any of them, but I deal with a lot. You know what? They're harder working than many Americans. They're nicer. They're more polite. Well, yeah, because they don't want to, but yes. And if it weren't for some of these people, I'll be real honest with you. I'm not sure how our country could keep going. Now, that may surprise you that I said that, but that's a little bit of truth. That is a little bit of truth. Why? Because we have allowed ourselves as a country, not individually. I'm sure that you know many hardworking people. So do I. I have 3 kids who are all hardworking people. But we have too many Americans, and it's not just the Gen Zers, and it's not just the Gen Xers, and it's not just the millennials, and it's not, it's a people of every who simply stopped going out and contributing and working hard and making something of themselves. Or they thought that certain jobs were beneath them, and there needed to be people to fill those jobs, or the jobs were going away. The companies would wither and die, and they had to find workers. So we have brought this on ourselves. How about that for a truth? We have brought this on ourselves. It is a national suicide, a slow suicide that we have been a part of. But how do we fix it? That's the end. That's the question. Maybe I'll answer it tomorrow because I'm running out of time here. What did I say? Okay, I said that Kristi Noem, yes, she says, now be ready for some lies out there. The headline on this is Kristi Noem calls for civil war. Okay, well, what she actually said was, in response to a question, if he's willing to do that, talking about Biden, let's see. Okay. On Sunday, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem suggested if President Joe Biden tries to federalize Texas National Guard forces, as some Democrats have urged, it could lead to a civil war. But here's what she said, okay? If he's willing to do that and take away my authority as governor, as commander-in-chief of those National Guard, boy, we do have a war on our hands. Okay, is she calling for a civil war? She didn't say so there. And many people have, well, we got a war. That doesn't necessarily mean civil war. You have to pay attention. You have to see what people are really saying because the truth is going to be twisted and many times buried as we're coming into to this season. Oh, and the final thing I wanted to say here, the FBI has barely taken a break from terrorizing soccer moms at school board meetings. And they have warned us that there is a major U.S. counter-hack. They told us that their major U.S. counter-hack disabled Russian botnet in critical infrastructure. So what they're saying is, well, the Chinese were after a whole lot of things here through small office, home office routers. We stopped them and blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll get into that. I don't have time for that today. But you know what they're saying? No, we don't just harass soccer moms. We are important. We are still relevant. We are the FBI. We are here to save you. And China is after you. And we already saved you, and we're going to save you again. So please don't keep calling us in front of congressional committees, and please give us more money. Okay, hey, good to be back. Can you tell the truth? Are you willing to tell the truth? Are you able to tell the truth? I'm saying, I've said this before, the other side lies. All we have to do is tell the truth often enough and to enough people, and we will win. You all have a good day. Remember that America needs a reversion. It needs you to be a part of it. It needs me to be a part of it. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.